Bonjour, bonjour et bienvenue. J'espère que vous allez bien. Bienvenue. Oui, au premier jour de ce challenge. Welcome to the first day of the French Verb Challenge. I know you're excited to be doing this. I am. And I guess you are too. All right, so let's get starting. And what better way can we start this challenge than getting to know what the infinitive of verbs are? Most people don't know this. In English, they don't know it. Then they come to learn French and they also maybe they didn't pay attention or they don't know it. And they struggle with this. So while learning the French language, going from one tense to the other, they discover that they struggle. And it now becomes worse when they're trying to make sentences, trying to pass a sentence from one language to the other. They struggle a lot, even in making sentences and in writing, they struggle because they do not understand what the work of the infinitive is. They don't understand what the infinitive means to the world of verbs. First, what are verbs? Okay, in case you don't know, so verbs are action words. So every sentence has a verb. So let's get to look at this, the infinitive, what it is, what it does, how it can help us to understand French verbs very well. And also, it could also help you understand English verbs also. Okay? All right, so let's go. All right, so what is the infinitive form? So the infinitive form is its most basic form. That means that form that hasn't been conjugated. Yeah, in the French, that form that hasn't been conjugated. You know, when verbs are conjugated, it's being moved to other tenses to reflect moods, subject, and also showing subjects performing the action. So it's moved to moods, to tenses, to present, to past, to future, to subjunctive, to conditionnel, to imperative tenses. So, but we're looking at the infinitive. So the infinitive could look like, in English, it could look like this: to speak, to eat, to go, to dance, to sleep. These are infinitive. And you know, infinitives cannot be placed with a subject pronoun. You can't say I to eat. No, you can't say I, okay, or I to speak, or I to eat, or I to go. No, it's unheard of, impossible. You can't say that. So that's the same way you cannot do it to French. You can't say you manger. No, you can't say that because manger is a verb in the infinitive. Therefore, you cannot put them together. So these are what infinitives look like in French. Parler, which means to speak. Fini, to finish. Vendre, to sell. And one more thing we also need to know. So I'm going to be talking about conjugations of verbs for the next 2 days, 3 days, yes. And you may be asking, what is conjugation? What is conjugation? What is conjugation? So very simple. Conjugation is the process of changing the verb. That is the infinitive to match the subject and tense. So we move the infinitive. For example, we want to make sentences in the present tense. So we pick, for example, one would make something in the present tense, talking using the verb parler. So we'll pick this verb in the infinitive, add it with its subject, yeah, give it a subject, and then we use the verb, we put it in the present tense. For example, so when we say something like, I am speaking English. So we can put it that I am speaking English has been conjugated, I am. That's conjugation. Whereas the infinitive is to speak, I am speaking. It's been conjugated. So that's it. And you know something about English? In English, the verbs do not change so much, unlike in French. So in French, the verbs change a lot, and this causes confusion and issues for a lot of people. So for this reason, the French people thought, oh, let's group those verbs under 3 major categories. So the categories are the ER, so it's based on the endings of the infinitives that they are grouped. So you have the ER, the IR, and the RE. So in this challenge, we're going to look at all of these categories, okay? We're going to take our time to look at them, how to conjugate them, how to make sentences with them, and we're also going to do some activities with them so you can master them, okay? So because we're looking at mastery, so we have to do all of that. So why is infinitive important? So it's the foundation for conjugation. The infinitive is the foundation for conjugation. Infinitive serves as the starting point, yes, for conjugating verbs into different tenses and moods. Understanding it is the first step in knowing how to modify verbs to match subject and tense. So that's it. So for example, let's go back here. So you say, okay, oh, I want to conjugate this verb. So you have to look at it, okay? It's an ER verb, so that means it has a certain pattern of conjugation. That's from the infinitive, because you can't just start putting the verbs the way you like or anything. No, you have to first look at the infinitive. It tells you how it's to be conjugated. Then you proceed with it and you conjugate your verb. So it's a foundation, is the foundation for conjugation. All right, next. It's also expression, it expresses intentions and commands. So the infinitive form expresses intentions and commands. So here is with the modal verbs, which we are going to see in this challenge. So this is where you use modal verbs to express intentions, desires, and commands. So, je veux parler français. Par exemple, je veux parler français. Nous devons finir le travail ce soir. Nous devons finir le travail ce soir. Il aime vendre des tomates. Il aime vendre ses chaussures. Il aime vendre n'importe quoi. So that's it. So when conjugating with modal verbs, the infinitive do not get conjugated. I've heard people conjugate the infinitive when they use two verbs like je veux parler. No, dear, it can't be je veux parler. Je veux parler. The second verb stays in the infinitive. You do not conjugate the second verb. You do not. Even in English, you don't. I want to speak. You see there? To speak is there. I want to speak. You don't even conjugate it in English. So in French, you don't conjugate the second verb. So when you have two verbs like this, okay? The second verb do not get conjugated. It's the infinitive. It stays that way. That is actually the verb carrying the main action of that sentence, and you do not conjugate it. All right. So next about the infinitive, it's okay. So the infinitive is also used to form compound sentences. You can use it to form compound sentences. So here you have you can use it to form the future approach, the near future tense, and the recent past tense. We will also look at it in the challenge. So here, like this, infinitive helps you to say things like this. Je vais parler. Je vais parler. Please don't say je vais parler. I hear people say that. They just conjugate everything because they've been taught to conjugate verbs and they feel everything must be conjugated. No, please don't do that. Je vais parler. Il vient de finir. So it's used to form compound tenses. So this is a future tense, and this is a past tense, thanks to the infinitive. Also, the infinitive is used with certain prepositions. So I've heard people at times trying to do word-for-word translation, moving from English to French, and they just bastardize the language. So here, you can use the infinitive with certain prepositions to say something like before eating. So at times people try to avant je, they now go avant je mange. It's simple, avant de manger. That's a better way of saying it. It works with the infinitive. Sans parler, without speaking. Don't go saying sans je parle. I hear that. Don't say good saying sans je parle. After avant though, the verb must be in the infinitive. After avant though, the verb must be in the infinitive. After sans, the verb must be in the infinitive. Pour, the verb must be. After pour, the verb must be in the infinitive, and we use this to talk about an aim. Yeah. J'apprends le français pour communiquer. Non, pour communiquer, oui. J'apprends le français pour communiquer avec les francophones. J'apprends le français pour communiquer avec les francophones. Okay, so that is about the infinitive. So some other thing we also need to look at before we begin conjugating subject pronouns. So some people do not know the subject pronouns, or they don't even know how to arrange them. They don't know how they work and all of that. So subject pronouns are words we place that replaces the subject of a sentence. So the subject of a sentence would be a noun. So we use it if you don't, for example, I say, oh, Mary is a beautiful girl. And I don't want to repeat Mary lives at, so I don't want to repeat Mary to make the next sentence. I will simply use the pronoun. Say, oh, Mary is a beautiful girl. She lives at, instead of saying Mary lives at, and say Mary, 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 Mary. So I just use she to replace Mary. So that's what subject pronouns are, okay? So they take the place of a subject. They replace a subject. They take where a subject should be. All right, so let's look at the subject pronoun. So, je, this is a first person singular. This is referred to the person speaking. Comme maintenant, je peux dire, je parle anglais. Ok, je parle français. Je parle français. Oui. So that's it. Refers to the person speaking. I am speaking, je. C'est moi qui parle. Donc, I'm the first person speaking. And the tu, it means you, it's singular. This is when you're speaking to one person. And it's used informally. We don't use this in a formal situation. It's used informally, used to address one person informally. Maybe you have an intimate relationship or an informal relationship with that person, so you can use tu with that person. Okay? Tout le monde ce soir? Tout le monde ce soir? Okay, that's it. So maybe I'm asking my child, tout le monde ce soir? That's it. And the third person singular, we have il, we have elle. Okay? Il, elle. Il like, yeah, il, elle. Okay? So it used to refer to a male or female subject. So if I'm speaking about, for example, I'm speaking about Frank, and I say he will be visiting this evening. He does it, representing the male subject I'm talking about. So if I'm speaking about, for example, Nina, and I said, oh, she looks so beautiful. She does it. So we can also have it. It is used to replace subjects, okay? Objects or something, depending on the gender. In French, you know, every noun in French has a gender. So depending on the gender. Okay. So that's it. Il chante très bien. Elle danse très bien aussi. Bon, so let's go to the next one. So these are singular. Je, tu, il, elle. These are singular subject pronouns. Let's go to the plural. So plural subject pronouns, you have nous, which refers, that's the meaning, we. So this is when you're speaking on behalf of a group of people. For example, you're speaking on behalf of your family, you're speaking on behalf of maybe you and your friend or your group of friends. So used to refer to a group, including oneself. So you're saying, oh, nous travaillons ce soir. Nous travaillons ce soir. So yes, that's it. So you're speaking on behalf of a group of people. Vous, vous can be used with one person, okay? In a formal situation, singular formal situation, yes, vous. And also when you're speaking to more than one person, plural, you can use vous. So use to address one person formally. For example, let's say your boss or someone you don't know, a stranger, someone you met on the way and you need help. You just, oh, excusez-moi, monsieur, excusez-moi, madame. So that's it. So you use vous with someone you don't know or someone you have a formal relationship with. Okay? And you can also use to address a group of people. Yes. So even if the group of people are people you will normally address with you, but when they are together, you can't use two anymore because two refers to just one person. So let's take, for example, your kids. You have maybe three, four kids. So when you're speaking to them, of course, you will use two, two, two. But when you're speaking to all of them at the same time, you can't use two anymore. That's plural, so you're going to have to use vous. Ça va? Okay, that's it. Then the last one is the third person plural pronoun. So you have il and elle. So they both mean they and they. Okay, so in English, we don't specify. We just say they are coming, they are fine, they are playing, yes. So they speak English, they speak French, they speak Chinese. That's English. They don't specify if it's a group of male or female. But in French, the French specify. So if it's a group of female, they will say elle. Elle parle français. Elle aime jouer. Yeah, so that's it. So they use, but if it's a group of male, they will use il, and also if it's a mixed group, meaning that if you have both male and female in the group, so you use il. And one more thing you need to know. So even if you have is a group and you have more let's say a group of 100 people, you have 99 women and just one male. They're all going to be referred to as il. Yes, because in French, the masculine gender supersedes the feminine gender, regardless of the number. Okay? So that's it. So this is how you write this is how you arrange them. Please, I see people mix them up, and when it's now time for conjugation, it becomes kind of difficult for them. So this is how you write it. So you go singular first, je, tu, il, elle, and then nous, vous, il, elle. That's how you arrange it this way. Please don't go right putting two up. Most times it's nous. I see nous comes to second and vous goes, and I'm like, why this mix up? So that's it. So please learn to arrange your subject pronouns correctly. So when it's time for conjugation, it becomes very easy. All right, so summary. So we have been able to see, to know what the infinitive of verbs are, the infinitive form, and its importance to this challenge. And also we know that French verbs are categorized under three major groups. And also understanding and using subject pronouns correctly is crucial for proper verb conjugation and clear communication in French. So I hope you had a nice time today and see you this evening in the WhatsApp group. So we'll have our exercise this evening in the WhatsApp group. Your uncle, bonne journée, au revoir, bye.